One of my least favorite things that happens whenever a black person is shot and or killed, and there's obviously racial implications in the situation. One of my least favorite things that happens is this almost understood, like this happens every time, an understood attempt to have to try and humanize them past just being a human being to justify why they didn't deserve it. Ralph Yarl was 16 years old. He went to the wrong fucking house and without any exchange was shot by this old fucking crinkly paper looking ass man. And the details that I didn't know about what happened afterwards is that he had to go to 3 different houses before he got help. And then I believe when he finally got help, they made him lay down on the ground with his hands up, even though he's clearly shot twice, once in the head and once in the leg. If that's not evidence enough how inhuman they consider us, I don't know what is. But the fact that there's always an emphasis of if this person was quiet, if they were docile, if they were like an impressive student. You know, Ralph, he played bass clarinet in band and orchestra. Yale had reached out to him. He was quiet. He was this, he was that. Even if he was a class clown with straight D's, he didn't deserve that. Even if he didn't play bass clarinet, even if he wasn't like the sweetest boy on earth, he still didn't fucking deserve it. Why do we as black people have to be like, we have to check certain fucking boxes of docility, of goodness, of utility to society before it's decided that we don't deserve to be treated like a black person gets treated in society? Like there's a gross, like maybe people don't really mean it, but it's there. Like that's gross insinuation that like Ralph didn't deserve this because he was such a good student, because he was so impressive. Like, how dare you? Like, yeah, he was impressive, but he was also just a 16-year-old boy. Just that alone. He was just a 16-year-old boy who rang the wrong doorbell. Even if he didn't have a list of accomplishments, he still didn't deserve it. You know, it gives, this was a good Negro. It gives, this was one of the good ones. It gives like, oh, if only this stupid old man could have seen a rap sheet of all of his fucking accomplishments plastered, like just his stats, I guess, his black person stats hovering around his head before he made the decision to shoot him. Maybe he would have determined that he was a good black person, one of the good ones. No, he was just a 16-year-old boy. He was just a child. He was just a kid who just stood there. It's this it's this understanding that every time this happens, we have to go back into the history of this black person that was killed or shot to prove that they had value beforehand, to prove that they had value. As if they don't have a long list of accomplishments, if they're not impressive, if they're not quiet. What if Ralph was particularly outspoken and a class clown? What if he made jokes and played pranks and maybe skipped school? What then? Would he have deserved it? I find that troubling every time. Even though I think sometimes people like it's done with good intentions, there's still a very, very dark underlying message to that. These accomplishments gave him value, and because of this value that he didn't hold just for being a human being, because he's black, and so by being black, you have a lower value as a human, but because he had this list of accomplishments, this means that he had value. So you shouldn't have shot him. No. You shouldn't have shot him because he's a 16-year-old boy who did nothing wrong. But this will continue to happen over and over again because that's how it goes, because in this society, we're not considered human. The evidence keeps on presenting itself.